Back during the reign of Sigismund the Elder, a new formidable neighbor appeared in close proximity to the borders of our country. The Turkish Osman Empire started threatening Central and Eastern Europe. Back in 1444, Jogaila's son, King of Poland Vladislav III, was killed. In 1380, Moscow defeated Tatars in Kulikovo and stopped being a tribute-paying country. This gave a new impetus to the claims of Moscow to regain all Russian lands, when in 1547, young Ivan IV, on the Moscow throne, proclaimed himself to be the Tsar of all Russia. Wars with Russia became an everyday headache for our ruler, Sigismund Augustus. This made changes in our policy. The need to get military assistance made us resort to Catholic Poland, with which we had dynastic ties. A big war with Russia broke out pretty soon. Our relationship with Livonia was a good excuse for Moscow to begin it. Considerably weakened after Pabaisk in 1435, the Livonian order was torn apart by religious discord. In 1557, in Pasvalis, we concluded an agreement on the military alliance, although the order had promised Moscow not to conclude any agreements with Lithuania. Thus, in 1558, the Livonian War, which involved numerous European states, broke out. In 1559, the last master of the order, Gotthard Kettler, and in 1562 the Archbishop of Riga with his vassals asked our ruler, Sigismund Augustus, for protection. The Confederation of Livonian states collapsed. Curonia and Semigalia became vassal duchies of Lithuania. The Livonian War was not successful. Ivan IV clearly had a military advantage. An army of conscripted Lithuanian nobles more and more often refused to discharge their military duty and take the burden of new taxes to maintain auxiliaries. In 1562, the army of Lithuanian nobility in Vitebsk applied to the ruler with a request to form a union. Sigismund Augustus decided to support the idea of a union. He expected to have it formed in the Warsaw Parliament already in 1564. Radical discord between Lithuanian and Polish nobility, however, was unfolding. The spirit of animosity also prevailed in the Lublin Parliament, convened on the 10th of January, 1569. Chancellor and Vilnius governor Mikalojus Radviladik Brown headed our delegation. The first session of the parliament failed to settle the controversy, and at the beginning of March our delegation left Lublin. The Polish parliament was alarmed. Sigismund Augustus decided to perform an unprecedented act of political coercion. Trampling Lithuanian statehood and his oath as the Grand Duke of Lithuania, he annexed Lithuanian lands, Volhynia, Palenkė, Podol, Bratslav and Kiev provinces, by unilateral decrees of the ruler. The threat of war with Poland became quite realistic. Lithuanian nobility summoned to Vilnius on the 20th of March voiced a protest against the annexation of Lithuanian territories and requested to postpone the deliberations related to the union issue until the next parliament. Poland responded on the 23rd of April by declaring a conscription in mass to implement the union at sword point. Having resorted to open threats, it succeeded in forming the union in the same year. On the 1st of July 1569, the Union Act was signed. It provided that the Kingdom of Poland and Grand Duchy of Lithuania shall form a single state, a republic. It shall be ruled by a person who shall be elected by the Parliament and crowned as the King of Poland and Grand Duke of Lithuania. Henceforth there shall be a single legislative power, the Parliament, a common foreign policy and a single currency. The nobility of both states shall be granted the right to acquire as well as own land and property in all of the Republic. Each state preserved part of its sovereignty, name of the state, territory, state borders, army, legal system, treasury, and all executive power. It may appear that Lublin Union was formed of our own free will, since we had our representatives in Lublin. But in fact, that was an act of coercion. We, the Lithuanian nobility, who swore allegiance to the Lublin Union, felt deeply hurt by the violation of the traditions of Lithuania's sovereignty created by our forefathers. The aim of the Poles to incorporate the Grand Duchy of Lithuania, which was several times bigger than Poland, into the Polish territory, and to obliterate the name of Lithuanian state, was not fulfilled. The ambitions they demonstrated, however, turned into almost insurmountable obstacles throughout all the later history in the relations of the two states. In 1572, Sigismund Augustus died childless. The principle that the next ruler should be elected and have no dynastic ties, which was formulated in the Lublin Act, made it possible for the ruling dynasties of Europe to start a campaign in the pursuit of a throne governing a major part of Europe. Such candidates were Ernest von Habsburg, Henri Valua of France, Ivan the Terrible from Russia, and his son Fyodor. Henri Valua won in the general atmosphere of intrigue and factions. On the 21st of February 1574, Valua was solemnly crowned in Krakow. Already in Paris, the new ruler promised to stick to the provisions called the Henrican Articles. These were worked out by the Polish nobles, who pursued freedoms which were beyond one's common sense, and which in the future were to become the herald of the state's collapse. Polish lordliness was getting into full force. They granted themselves the right to defy the ruler and remove him from the throne. Other articles were also humiliating for the ruler. He could only be elected and had no right to choose his successor. He was given 15 standing advisers, and 4 ruled the republic together with him. No issues of war or peace could be resolved without the Senate's consent, and the king could not conscript an army nor impose taxes without the parliament's approval. Later, Henri Valua signed the document of financial and military liability, titled Pacta Conventa. Valua failed to stay long on the throne. Having received a message about the death of his brother, Charles IX, he left for Paris on the night of June the 18th. He was crowned Henri III of France. Nobody was able to make him stay or bring him back. He escaped from Poland, as one might have escaped from plague, and in the new state of noblemen, the second interregnum commenced. Proudly titled as electoral, those parliament sessions became the feast of noblemen. The crown was proposed here to the Habsburgs, there to Ivan the Terrible, and even his feeble-minded and ailing son Fyodor, until at long last Anna Jagiellon was proclaimed the Queen of Poland. Meanwhile, the king's throne was offered to Transylvanian prince Steponë Batorı. On the 5th of April 1576, Batorı was crowned the King of Poland, and on the 29th of June, Lithuanian noblemen and gentry proclaimed him Grand Duke of Lithuania and ruler of the Republic. He verified the Henrican Articles, which remained a permanent fixture in the electoral monarchy, and subsequent rulers had to pledge to them as well. Top issue of the heritage received by Steponë Batorı was Livonian War, which was unsuccessfully begun in 1558 and was still unfinished. Beginning with 1579, the ruler organized 3 campaigns to Moscow. Employing successful tactics, he recaptured Polotsk in the same year, and in 1580 he took Luki fortress in Russia and laid siege on Pskov in 1582. Aging and somewhat senile, Ivan IV of Russia relinquished Livonia, Polotsk, and Veles in Zapolye Yama on the 15th of January. He reclaimed Luki and Sebez. Thus, Steponë Batorı victoriously ended the long Livonian War. The ruler's position on the Krakow throne was consolidated. He even started deliberating the plans of merging the Republic and Russia, impoverished by Ivan IV. He dreamed of a broad coalition of allies which might oust Turkey from Europe and liberate his native Hungary. Those plans were never executed. On the 12th of December 1586, Steponë Batorı unexpectedly died in Grodno.